Alright, this video demonstration is on clarified butter, and so I am going to show you how to clarify butter. You want to cut the butter in cubes because putting a big block in here will take too long to melt. And this is the one and only time butter is ever put on high. Butter burns very fast, and so you must keep stirring. Now the purpose of clarifying butter is to remove the water and the protein. Butter is almost 100% fat. But it comes from a cow. Obviously the milk comes from a cow, so there is a small amount of protein in here, and there is some water. So what we're going to do is boil off the water, and then the protein solids, for lack of a better word, are kind of going to burn, and they will sink to the bottom of the pan. And when that happens, then we're going to pour the butter through a coffee filter, and the pieces of protein, which look like dried crumbs, will catch in the filter, and of course all the water is already evaporated. So clarified butter is used sometimes in baking, a lot in pastries, where they want just pure fat and no other elements in there. So again, this is the only time you'll ever melt butter on high because it burns very fast, and you have to babysit it. You must keep stirring the butter. Alright, so our first step here is we're going to keep doing this until the butter comes to a boil, and it's getting very close already. Alright, fats heat up very, very quickly, and since this is on high heat, it's not going to take long. Now you can see a foam is developing, and a foam is going to continue to grow in here as this boils. Okay? So when the butter begins to boil, it's going to be sizzling, and you can see it's almost there. We're going to start rocking the pan back and forth. Okay? All right? And we're going to keep rocking the pan until this butter, or until the foam disappears. So I can hear it sizzling. It's very faint, but you can obviously tell this is there. You might be able to hear the sizzling. Okay, but it's boiling, so I'm going to start rocking the pan. All right, just back and forth. Now you're doing this because you don't want to burn the butter or scorch it. Okay, and you can see there's a lot of foam. We must keep doing this until the foam completely disappears. Okay, and you can see the foam is going down. We're going to keep doing this, and eventually those round little bubbles are going to look more hexagon in shape. Okay. Now a hexagon, I believe, has 6 sides. All right, not that you need to sit here and count them. All right. All right, take a look. These are still very round bubbles, and we still have a small amount of foam on there. And again, you have to keep rocking so the butter is moving along the bottom of the pan. Now, a lot of times when making these videos, we will stop them. Right now, we're keeping this going so that you get an idea about how long this takes. If you do burn your butter, you have to start over. There's no way to retrieve it. You'll just throw it all away and get some more and try again. Now, what's going to happen is these bubbles will form hexagons, and then after the hexagon bubbles, a dull film is going to kind of go over the top. We're going to keep doing this, and then it's going to turn into a fine foam, and the sizzling will stop. All right? Once it turns into a fine foam and the sizzling is stopped, we're pretty much done. All right? So we will be back in just, okay, we've got hexagons. If you can see all these bubbles in here, and I know with the steam it's probably hard to see, but they're not perfectly round. They're sticking and they have straight edges, so that's your clue that you're at hexagon bubbles. when all these bubbles are sticking together, and where the two bubbles stick, they form a straight edge. All right? So you just keep rocking this baby back and forth, or you can swirl it a little bit. You have to do something to keep it from sticking to the bottom. All right? Now we're going to continue cooking until it starts making a very fine foam again. All right? And all the sizzling and noises will stop. All right? We'll see. We are back taking a look, and you can see that the bubbles are getting much smaller. They're not the large hexagon bubbles anymore. It's starting to look like a foam. We're going to get just a little bit more foam on here. When I swirl this back and forth, occasionally I can see the protein bits on the bottom of the pan. Not a lot, but a little bit. Also understand, this is usually the point where students burn it, and they go to the point that their butter is almost brown. That your clarified butter should still be yellow. Okay, we'll be back in probably about a minute, minute and a half to finish. Okay, if we take a look at this, we can see we have a foam over the top, and if you can tell, you can see all the protein on the bottom. There's no more sizzling. So now you pour this into a coffee filter that's in a colander. Now, if you're pouring this into glass, you need to make sure that that is tempered glass so that it will not shatter with this hot fat in there. Now I want to show you the inside of the pan. All of that is protein that has cooked out of the butter, and there will be more that's in this coffee filter. And the other thing I would like to show you is I started with 2 cups of butter. So we're going to see how much water cooked out when this is done draining through. All right, so it's almost done. And as you can see in there, all those pieces of protein is the protein that has cooked out of the butter. And we'll be back in just a second when this. All right, we're back. And if you look I think it's about at 1.5 cups, which means we lost a ½ cup of water along with all of these protein bits. So now this is 100% fat. Your butter should be this nice yellow color. If yours is not, then you probably burned it. All right, and what we'll do is we will put this in Ziploc bags and save it for when you are making your snickerdoodles.